Hello, good afternoon. I'm Kemi. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. Today is July 29th. Hmm. How far, how fast the year is going. Thank God for life. Today we're going to talk about the business bureau, the credit bureau, sorry. We're going to have Osuji here shortly. But for the past 4 weeks, we've been talking about loans and how we can access loans. We've had here Ezine Edoga Wakafo, the head of startup business for Sterling Bank. We've had the Bank of Industry have their say they were ably represented by Sadat Raji, the project officer at SME Banking. There was then last week we had Bode Joseph, the head of finance and credit admin of Capital Bank. So we've had commercial bank, we've had a development bank, we've had the finance sector be represented by the finance house, represented by Capital Bank, is the oldest financing company in Nigeria, oldest stockbroking firm in Nigeria, really. And um, Capital Capital Bank is the oldest stockbroker, was represented by Bode Joseph, who gave us an insight on asset financing, leasing, and the other areas in which Capital Bank can add value to the SME space and to the access to finance space. Now, today we'll have Vera Osuji of CreditRegistry. It's a credit bureaus know what credit bureaus do. I think there are just about two credit bureaus in Nigeria, and CreditRegistry is one of them. We're trying to wait for Vera, but while we wait, access to finance, really. Um, how well it just didn't work out. But, okay, Vera, thank you for joining me.
Hello, good
You're
morning.
welcome to my
Good,
program.
good afternoon. I
Oh,
was trying to
I can hear
join
you
on
very
my
well.
desktop and
Okay,
hello, Faye.
okay, we can hear you now. Now I can hear you.
Okay.
Thank you for
Yeah, good
joining me.
afternoon. I said I was,
Good afternoon.
thank you.
Okay, you are the fourth person to represent the financial industry. And we've had, like I said earlier, Sterling Bank representing commercial banks. We've had Bank of Industry representing the development banks. We've had a finance company, um, Banco Finance Limited, by Bode Joseph. Now, today, we are going to have a credit bureau, CreditRegistry, represented by you. Thank you once again for being here. help us understand what credit bureau do and how not to stay in their books permanently. Vera is an experienced business leader with 12 years experience in consulting, investment banking, and credit development of CreditRegistry Services Credit Bureau PLC. She's an associate member of Chartered Institute of Credit Management, England, member of the Commodity Brokers Association of Nigeria. She's a Six Sigma specialist for philanthropy from Philanthropy University, Berkeley, USA. She has a master's in industrial relations and personal management from the University of Lagos and has a BSc in psychology. Thank you very much, Vera, for being here. Um, okay, I hope she can come back. Not, I'm trying to get her back here. So we have talked about access to finance for the past 4 weeks. With they've given us their various interest rates, how to access the finance. The same thing with the back of the industry, and but they talked about asset financing, leasing, and all the other stuff that bank of finance does. So my question is, the SME has been able to get access to finance. As business owners, most of us take loan for a bank or a finance house. We will have our names on a credit bureau list. And a lot of us don't know what the process is. So please, I have some questions before others start asking their own questions. So do I need to take for my name to be in your register? Can you take us through the process of how our names will end up in your books? Somebody talked about that as little as getting credit from the telecoms industry, that um, somebody's name will be listed in the credit bureau. And I found that very fascinating. So can you please about what credit bureau do and what it will take to have our names there on your registry, and what type of loan do we need to get before our names will be in the registry?
Okay. Thank you. Can you hear me, Faye, please?
Sorry?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Very well.
Okay. All right. That's good. I was having network challenge. So thank you for having
Oh,
me online today with you. So I want to start by I went off. I overheard you say that we have two credit bureaus in Nigeria. So I want to change that mindset because we actually have three credit bureaus in Nigeria licensed
oh,
by
okay.
CBN.
Sorry.
So CreditRegistry is the first credit bureau in Nigeria. We came into Nigeria 2003 and we started operations 2003. So we are the pioneer of this in this industry. And after us, then you have the other two competitors that joined afterwards. And that is why we say all the time at the bureau that we are the largest credit bureau network in Nigeria in terms of number of unique entities. So when I say unique, individuals and corporate institutions that has been reported to us as a credit bureau, right? So we have over 60 million unique entities, and we are the bureau that we have access to legacy data. So when you want to look at loans that were given years back, that most institutions cannot recover. Such information on such loans will be found on our bureau because of our position as the first in the industry and the fact that we have access to such legacy data. So that is just that on that. And what we do. So a credit bureau is just a repository of credit information. So what we do is, no, before, when you go to take a loan, right? One of the things the bank or the institution wants to confirm is, one, your ability to pay, and secondly, your intention to pay. And your intention to pay borders a lot on integrity, it borders a lot on character, it borders a lot on historic attitude. Because, right, really, you can't really tell who somebody is. It's easier for you to draw conclusion on who someone is by looking at the person's behavioral pattern. You can't just come out to call someone a thief because the person looks like a thief. You can only call someone a thief because the person has stolen in the past, right? So history, past behavior is a pointer to your behavior in future, right? So what we do is, the bank, no institution can determine intention to pay without the power of data analytics. And that is where the credit bureau comes in. So we keep information on how people paid in the past. So one of the things these banks send to us, because I just want to explain what we do before I get into other things that you asked me. One of the things the bank sent to us is, when the bank, once you get to take a loan with the bank gives us information on your KYC, your credit limits, the amount of loan you've taken, the period of the loan, okay, even the instrumental period, even the instrumental payment. So once that information is fed into our database, the bank also updates every time that you repay. And anytime you don't pay, it shows that you're delinquent automatically. So even if you are paying a loan, you paid your loan, you took a loan for a period of 6 months, and you paid it up in a space of 9 months. When you get your credit report, you're going to find out that there was a loan you took that you were delinquent on the repayment. You didn't pay as at when due. So we have information on all the loan you've taken in Nigeria, your repayment pattern, what the loan is about, all the details on the loan, the payment terms, the credit terms, the credit limit, every detail on you, KYC and credit information. And so we put this information together, and we give banks output that will provide a credit report. So in addition to credit report, the credit bureau has other products they provide to financial institutions to help them take right decision in terms of when it comes to giving credit, when it comes to risk assessment as well. Okay, so that's basically what we do. We just get information from different sources, and we integrate the information we get from different sources, right? And we come out on a report for an individual. So what we call a credit report, I call it a credit report, is someone's behavioral passport. So once individual bank send us information about you, and tomorrow you want to deal with a bank, they come to me to ask for your credit report. In addition to what we do, because I think I've laid a lot of emphasis on financial institutions, in developed economies, right? The economies thrive because people can trust each other when it comes to business relationship. People can actually trust it to know that, okay, you promised to do this, and I know this person can do it. So Nigeria, the credit bureau is a trust bank of every economy. So we are getting to the point in Nigeria where non-financial institutions, organizations can actually report debtors to us. Before you get a house, your landlord will come and check, this person I'm getting the house, does this person have an intention to pay? So imagine we get to a point where our landlords report people that are not paying them. So what are we trying to build? The credit bureau tries to build trust in every transaction, tries to make people accountable in every transaction they get involved in. People know they're obligated to pay when there's a contract signed, right? So that's basically what we do. And also, you did ask me a question on type of loans we need to take before your name comes into the bureau. It's any loan you take, be it a mortgage, be it a credit card, be it a personal loan, whatever it is that you take, okay, your name, as long as it's any form of credit, the bank must report it. However, we have cases where if you have a current account, okay, that You have a current account that goes into debit. There are cases where the bank reports such to us, right? And really, once you find out that you get your credit report and you find out that you're actually not owing, it was a debit on a current account, you just send us an email, because the act guiding our operation has allowed us to set up a dispute resolution desk. So once you find out, you just send us an email, just go make payments, and we approach the bank, and we have the bank to change that information, because nobody can change information provided by a credit information, okay, an information provider. It's only the information provider that provided that particular information on you that can change that as well, right? So any type of loan you take, okay, your name can come onto a bureau. Even if it's a transaction between you and your landlord, ideally, your name should come to the bureau on how you're paying your rent. In a country where we are structured, you're not paying your water bill, your name should come to the bureau because you're not paying your water bill, because all this is all encompassing. Does that make sense?
Okay,
So it's all encompassing.
If I borrow credit, I'm a consistent borrower of credit. If I'm not a consistent borrower of credit from MTN, will my name end up in your registry?
From MTN, yes, we have telcos. So what we have with telcos, actually, no, MTN is structured differently, right? What we have with telcos most times, what telcos usually report is actually postpaid.
Okay.
Normal star, what is it again? I think star 606 that we use. Once you pay, it clears it. Or once you top up, it clears it up automatically. So most times the telcos report information on postpaid to us. So we have telcos on our platform as well. Yeah.
Customer and you do not fulfill your obligation at the end of the month. MTN
Say that again, please.
Right.
Say that again, please,
ma'am. Postpaid customer. Okay, you have a contract line with MTN or any of the telcos, and you fail to pay your bill that month. You have the right to report you to credit bureau.
Fantastic. Exactly. Exactly. Oh. Exactly.
Okay, so
you cannot just get into an agreement and use the postpay for 1 month and decide to go and dump the SIM and go for another telco. No.
Telco. Oh, okay. So if my company takes a loan on, say, Bank of Industry or Sterling Bank or Bank of Finance, is it my company name that will be on in your registry, or just the company name?
Okay, so every business have promoters. Okay, one of my answer that I want to talk about process of reporting loans to us, just as you said. Okay. So you did ask that question earlier. So there's what we call the common data template, and that template is given to us by CBN, and that is a universal template that every organization, financial and non-financial, uses to send data to the credit bureau. So what you use to send data to me is the same thing we use to send to other credit bureaus, just to ensure reliability and to ensure that everything is actually same. So, and on that particular template, the common data template, you have a section for individual borrowers and you have a section for corporate entities. In addition to the corporate entities, there's a section for promoters of the business. So you have to give us information on the directors of the business. So when your company takes a loan and the bank is filling the CDT regarding the loan that you took from them, right? On the corporate entity and the people behind that corporate entity. So if you're not paying a loan, because I said reports that we give institutions, we have a lot of products that we provide to institutions for the full cycle of credit. So let's part of credit, right? So if tomorrow you decide not to pay your loan because it's an entity, and a bank comes to us and decides to get a particular report that we provide that gives information on the directors of that company, right? They can come up with that report and see that, hey, this woman is a director to the company. How can we reach her to get her personal number and in the company, because you're able to access that information from the credit bureau. So information about the promoters of every business is sent to the bureau. alongside information of the company as well, which is ideally separate from the owners, but the owners are promoters of this business actually.
So what does it take to have my name removed from the register? I paid my loan, and I'm no longer owing whatever the financial institution is. So that my name is no longer in the registry.
So, right, every institution know that when you don't update a customer's record and the customer reaches out to you and is it could actually lead to a suit, a court suit, and the customer you don't update and the customer reaches out, because if you reach out, you have to allow us to resolve it. Also, I said earlier, as you pay your loan on a monthly basis, it is this is data analytics here. It's up every time you pay your loan. And at the time, whenever you repay, it's updated that you've paid as well. Once the bank send us information, it clears automatically. However, it's also advisable that once you finish, you should ask the bank for a letter of non-indebtedness. So when you
Oh,
get,
okay.
yeah. So when you get that letter of non-indebtedness and there is an error, because there could be an oversight that will happen tomorrow. We've had cases of people say that I finished paying my loan. I never knew that some interest was running, right? It shouldn't be. So to make your case easy, have such cases, present that letter of indebtedness to the credit. We won't just take it at that face value. We'll also send it to the bank to say this is what this person has provided, and we're going to make the update. And in cases like that as well, I will always advise you to provide the same letter of non-indebtedness to the 3 credit bureaus in Nigeria, because
Hmm.
data reporting is not a central pool. Data rendition to the credit bureaus is not in a central pool. Data rendition is managed by the 3 different private entities. So you have to go update your record on the 3 of them, because you don't know the credit bureau that the other institution will use in future, because CBN expects that before you give any loan, you must get person from at least 2 credit bureaus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm. So if I fail to ask a financial institution for my like clearance, um, are they not obligated to do that? To send since they sent my name anyway, and I paid for it for sending your name. Is it not proper for them to also tell the credit bureau that this person or this company has finished paying the loan and the name should be deleted from the registry? Is that not the right thing to do? Should
So
I
that's
be
the right
involved
thing.
in that
That is what is
talk with them
expected.
about it? Okay.
So that is what is expected. I said every time, every month, the bank sends data on active loan customers. Information they send on active loan customers, payment that has been made, and where final payment has been made, we update it accordingly as well. But also I will advise you to just get the letter of non-indebtedness. That is better for you. Especially when there's a bit of back and forth in the loan with the institution, right? So just get indebtedness. It's easier
Because
to
we've got
resolve.
please continue.
I said it's always usually easier to resolve disputes that may arise in future when you have your letter of non-indebtedness.
Because we've had instances where somebody thought she had finished paying her loan, only for the bank to send a letter like 4 5 days after that she was owing over 1 million naira, and she was wondering where that came from. They now said she had not paid something and there was a lot of interest on it, and she needed to clear that over 1 million when she had already finished paying her loan. So that means her name would have still been on the registry. Wow.
I
Okay,
agree with
so
you.
the borrower has to also be on top of things. That's what you're saying. That you will not
Exactly.
relent in ensuring that your name is deleted, and that
Mhm.
the bank gives you, or the financial institution gives you a letter to state you are no longer indebted and that your name
Exactly.
has been
Exactly.
removed from the credit registry. Okay. So,
Exactly.
as small business owners, sometimes there are issues with us. In the past few months that we've had challenges. How would somebody who wants to restructure a loan, does the person need to involve the credit bureau when the restructuring is supposed to take place, or do you need to let the bank know that, okay, my credit is supposed to end December 2020, but because of COVID and all its wahala, I cannot pay till December 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Will the bank now be obligated to send you like a memo or a report or a mail stating that, yes, this person's credit is supposed to end, or you've listed it to end on December 2020, but it
Mm-hmm.
cannot end 2021. So will the bank send you that, or the person just wait and have faith that things will work out anyway?
No, so every information on the bureau, it's your responsibility to check your credit report. Because as I said earlier, I mentioned that your credit report is your integrity passport. You know the way you take your passport to the embassy and you travel, show them your passport and they stamp it. We're getting to a world where even when you relocate from Nigeria, right, the countries you're going to will ask you for a credit report in Nigeria, how they can trust you. So it is your responsibility, because even the act guide provision for the data subjects. So me and you, we are data subjects that have been reported to the bureau, right? So there are responsibilities to to ensure that information reported on you is correct. On us, even the banks, anybody reporting information on you, there's a responsibility on them to ensure that they report accurate information on the data subject. However, let me answering your question. I know that we all know that we're in a pandemic and a lot of people are restructuring their loans, which you have the right to, of which CBN has authorized the banks to make sure they restructure loans for individuals that will come to them right now. So first and foremost, I will advise you to write to the bank officially if there's any restructuring. Do not have a conversation with them. So I'm saying this based on an experience, which I may not get into right now. There was a scenario that played out very well right in front of me. So first thing, make sure you write the banks, tell the banks that you want to restructure. This is the situation of to the extent to which your business has been affected, and you could ask for extension of loans. Also, when they extend your loans, see, you are a customer, the banks cannot thrive without you taking credits. There's nothing wrong in taking credit. Make sure you ask them for an amortization schedule. You need to find out how did they spread this across. So I know someone that tried to restructure a loan with an institution, right? And this person wanted the loan to be just give me a space of 3 months. I won't pay in a space of 3 months. And this institution restructured it in such a way that instead of having an outstanding repayment period of 10 months, they made it 18 months and, increase interest. And the person was going to be paying higher. Now imagine you didn't ask the bank for an amortization schedule to see how they did that calculation. And even when you look at the right, consumer rights by CBN, you have the right to reject anything they send to you if it's not convenient, it's not okay by you. So make sure that you ask for a amortization and a schedule showing your repayments. If they restructured it, in what are the terms of the restructuring? If it's an extension, what are the terms? What is the period of that extension? Now, when you have that letter, no institution should report you to the credit bureau if you're affected by this global pandemic. But what we've noticed right now is that a lot of times from scenarios that I've played right in front of me, you approach your account officer and I'll be saying sorry if you did not put it in writing, right? Because it's better to put it in writing. And possibly the account officer forgets. And the account officer comes to you to say that there was no approval, and it is not true. There is no institution that you will approach in this pandemic that will not approve a loan restructuring for you, as long as you're able to tie it to the pandemic that is affected by COVID-19. So such loan is not supposed to be reported to the credit bureau that you're not paying. But if you have your letter and you find out that you've been reported as delinquent, because that is what you're going to see. They will just say that in so months you did not report. Approach your account officer to change it after you've come to terms and all that. If the person doesn't change it, you can approach the branch manager. If they don't change it, please go to the head office of that bank or reach out. If you call me for any bank, feel free to ask me for the credit risk managers of any institution. I will give you the contact of any of them that you want. If you're watching here, approach the credit risk manager of that bank. Clear your complaints. Trust me, to be resolved in less than a week. Because that the gap most times is usually from the account officers not doing what that's. Loan restructuring is not done by us. Loan restructuring is done by the financial institution, that's the information provider. And updating such structured facilities is not done by us, it's done by the information provider. So just to also provide clarity, right? There are parties to the credit bureau database. You have information providers. So under the cycle of the information providers, you have all the banks, you have all the schools. Maybe you're a parent paying your school fees, you should be reported to the credit bureau under the information provider.
Really? School fees?
Of course, sure.
So
You
if
have
you're
the
a delinquent
landlord.
parent, you are reported to the credit bureau. You're not
Ideally, we
paying
have
your
schools on our
students' school
platform.
fees.
Yes, we have two schools on our
Wow.
platform. Exactly. So you have different information. You have companies that have problems with recovery of loans and all that. So that's the information provider in a particular cycle. That is the credit bureau in the middle of this. So the information provider feeds us with data, and they have the responsibility to correct data that has been fed to the bureau. And the last person on the divide is you and me. Okay, before me and you still have the same information providers that feed in information to this particular cycle, and they take it out when they need it. Because I've aggregated all information I've received from them, and I've converted it to an asset that they can use to take a decision. So they can now come back and take the information that different people have decision. And then also you have me and you who have the right to come and say, I want to see my credit report. I want to see what has been reported about me on my credit report by the information providers.
Okay, so if you're a chronic debtor, not, and you're owing student school fees, and you happen to want to get a loan from a bank, you're in deep trouble.
Of
Is that what
course,
you're saying?
Bureau is the trust
Oh,
bank of every institution, of every country, of every economy. So if you're not paying your water, you're not paying your phone bill, there's a red flag around you. It should be red flagged. I don't even understand. So
yes.
yeah,
So, can you take us through all the institutions that one needs to be sure of paying every time?
everybody
Because
that you
people don't.
own.
Credit bureau is actually about like integrity police. That's what
Yes,
yeah, yeah. The
of course,
integrity
yeah.
police. You are ensuring that people who don't have integrity don't have
Mm-hmm,
access to
mm-hmm,
certain things like
of course.
loans and. Okay, so tell us because this sounds very interesting. Apart from schools and landlords who are free to report, and of course financial
Everybody,
institutions, who else? And
as
cell
long
phones.
as there's a relationship, as long as they have a business and you have very huge receivables, right? Your sales ledger is terrible. Please come to me. We'll show you a product that you can use to report such people to the credit bureau. It's out there, and people are owing you. You have the right to report them to the credit bureau, as
Okay,
long as you're a
so
business
even
out. Even
as a small
hospitals have
business
the right.
owner, please
Go
continue.
on. I said even hospitals have
As
the
a
right to.
please continue.
Okay, I said
Sorry.
even hospitals have a right to report them. The OTA is not paying them because they can't treat patients and the HMOs are not paying. So just know that everybody out there watching this, even after you share it right now, know that you have the right to report that is not meeting up to the obligation you guys have. As a matter of fact, it's high time we get to the point that oral contracts can be trusted. Because if everybody is reporting people owing them and you have an oral contract, right? So responsibility is instilled in the minds of individuals out there to know that I am responsible, I must keep to my obligation, I am accountable, and that is the role of a credit bureau, basically, to ensure that people are
Okay.
fighting. Yeah.
So if I'm a tailor, for instance, and I have this
Mm-hmm.
madam who
Mm-hmm.
comes regularly to sew, but
Mm-hmm.
owe me 50K, then come back to pay me 10K when she wants to sew again.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a right to say, okay, enough is enough. And credit registry or go to credit registry to
Mm-hmm.
report that this woman
So
is a chronic debtor. Is
so
that do I
now
can work in
mentioning
as a
tailors.
tailor?
So
Yes,
mentioning
I'm
tailors.
just looking for MSMEs that don't know or don't have the structure that banks have or financial institutions have. So if the MSME is an individual, the MSME can walk into your company, your credit bureau, to report that individual. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, exactly. But before I answer that, we just mentioned tailors. So I would like to let you know the history of the credit bureau. Credit
Okay.
bureau started by tailors in London that came together that a lot of people were owing them and they were not paying. So there's a Madam A that will go to Tailor B, Tailor C, and they will make so many apparels for them and they don't pay. So when the tailors found out that the same chronic debtors were coming to patronize them, that's how they started keeping records. So that's actually the history of a credit bureau, right? So
Interesting.
exactly. So really, anybody out there, really, if you're no matter how small your business is, the only challenge is going to be how structured are you. So when you come to us, we have a pre-qualification. It's not a platform for witch hunting. So we need to even verify you in the first place. I have our process laid down, right? So if you come to us, if you don't have some process, we'll have to help you set it up. But any free to report, as long as you're a small business, you have the right to report people that are owing you.
Please, Jolly has a question. Please, I have a
Okay.
client who is owing for more than 4 years now. Please, how
Mm-hmm.
do the credit bureau, assist with things?
So I would suggest that after this meeting, you can just send me a chat. So we'll support you on that. We'll support you. As I said, our goal, our strategic message out there is Nigerian Trust Bank. That's what we believe so much in. So we'll support you to make sure that the people actually pay you. So
But
yeah, you
how do you
definitely can report to the credit bureau. Go
okay?
on,
But
ma'am.
how do you ensure that I am not trying to spoil somebody's character, that the
Mm-hmm.
person is actually owing me? Because for a tailor, maybe I don't know, maybe he may not be keeping records,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's his words against the word of his customer.
Exactly.
So how do you ensure
Exactly.
that he's not lying and he's not trying to put people in trouble because for one reason or the other?
Mm-hmm. So I did mention earlier that once you come to us as a credit bureau, right, we have our pre-qualification process. We need to verify your business. We need to verify the structure you put in place. So
Okay.
there are things we'll be asking you. You need to provide us all the things we're asking. But and also, if we find out that you don't have some structures and you're a genuine business, we have to let you know that these are structures you should put in place. These are the things you should do to enable you report to the bureau to enable you keep record, right? Because you can't come and report someone that is just an oral contract. You know, so because
Yeah,
we also
but
have
as
our,
a tailor,
we also
a
have,
local tailor, I won't have a contract. But the person is owing me because I know an actual situation where the person was owing the tailor 250,000 naira.
so one of the things we are going to be looking out for once you agree, do you understand? There should be some form of documentation that the person has executed. So that's why if you don't have such system in place, we'll advise you on the system to put in place so that you don't put us into trouble. So we don't, because the data subject can take us to court. We can,
Yeah.
so we make sure that you have a system in place that will support you to report to put in place. And if you don't have such system put in place, we'll pre-qualify you and
Put
put it
your
up.
house in order.
Yes, yeah, and if you're not able to put it up, you will not be able to report to the bureau because we can't lose our one court case or the other.
Okay, because MSMEs, I hope we're listening. We and structure.
Mm-hmm.
We can't emphasize documentation,
Yeah,
and it's one of the things that we are always talking about, that people need to do due diligence and to put their house in order. Because if your house is not in order, you will not be able to go ask for help when you need help. In the first place, you won't even be able to
sure.
get a loan, and people who are owing you, you won't be able to get redress because your house is in disarray.
Sure, sure.
Can you shed more light on um, MSMEs who are not so structured but who keep records? We have caterers who are being owed for years, and they go ask people, the people owing them for their money, and dogs are being set on them, and they're being treated as if they're not human beings. They dared to ask that rich person to pay for services that have been rendered. So if the that is owing, let's say, small caterer, is quite a prominent, the situation, the way you treat for the average man. So I'm a caterer.
Mm-hmm.
I was told to come do small chops at
Okay.
a billionaire's daughter's wedding, because I know somebody's auntie's uncle or something. And I actually did the work. I was given part payment. But to get my balance became an issue because I'm being treated as if I'm a nobody, because can I come with my receipts and my invoices to your credit bureau to report this billionaire?
Of course. So we have a product we just launched, right? And it's actually focused for businesses, small businesses, and not financial small businesses. And it allows you to manage your invoices. So you pay a token and it allows you to, that's why I said when you come to us and you don't have a structure put in place, our goal is to support you. We can see the need, we can see the problem out there. Our goal is to help you solve it. So the product is structured in such a way that it manages your invoices. If you want it to create invoices for you, it's going to create invoices for you. And also it will be sending automatic reminders to the people owing you, right? To these debtors. So even if they've not paid, it sends automatic reminder to them, right? To repay. Does that make sense? So, and where they don't pay, as I went to, when they're delinquent in 30 days or in 60 days, it reports to the bureau automatically as a debt. But also, we need to, there are cases where there's a provision for you to also update your own dashboard, because as a business owner, you get on a dashboard. But because we know that a lot of people are not structured, a lot of people are not, although even though it's very user friendly,
Okay. I think we have a bit of technical issue.
sorry, can
Okay.
you, I'm back here.
You were
So
frozen for a bit.
yeah, I'm using my phone, so it went off. So when you approach us, we can actually put you under a partner that has responsibility to ensure the integrity of what you're sending to the credit bureau. So you may not imagine out there we have hundreds and millions of businesses, all these hundreds of millions of business entities to report people owing them. So they are, depending on a sector, we may not give you direct access. Depending on the structure, we may not give you direct access. Okay, we just put you under a partner to us, and you report under them, and this person has responsibility to ensure the reliability of the data you're providing, the integrity of the data you're providing, ensure that it's updated as at when due, okay, when the customer pays, the right update is made at the right time. So it's just an invoicing management process. And the
Okay.
interesting
So
thing for you out there is that if you're listening, there's a free trial. So there's a subscription that is free to this invoicing management structure to see how it's going to fit and solve your problem as a business owner.
okay. So if I report the billionaire and is
Mm-hmm.
listed on your in your registry, so if you want to
Mm-hmm.
get a loan from Bank of Industry, will Bank of Industry be able to pick up that red flag?
Definitely. Nobody will give him loan until he comes back to pay you. So what we see happening in most banks is that you see some people come to you without you calling them to tell you they want to pay, or even if they don't have the money, they tell you they want to discuss restructure the loan. They're not just being kind. Their business idea is stuck because they can't access credit. So they're stuck with you. So definitely, as long as that information is on the person's passport, so I'm going to call your credit report as your passport. As long as it's on your
Okay.
passport, there is no institution that is very serious with this risk assessment procedure, right? That will give that particular person a loan until the person goes back to pay that debt. So in that, by
Okay.
doing so, we are being a watchdog for each other, for one another. So every information provider, when you come into the bureau as an information provider, join this pool to be a watchdog for every other person's business, inclusive of my own business.
Okay. So final words. If there is no question, then do we have final words for our people concerning the use of the credit registry? Oh, before you give a final word, let me do like a recap. Okay, the my takeaways are the credit bureau is like an integrity watchdog that ensures that people are held accountable for their actions in this sense concerning financial transactions. So,
Yeah.
and you have quite a number of people or businesses listed, not just financial institutions. You have small business owners, you have telcos, you have schools, and you have other prominent companies listed on your as your clients, so to speak. You also are the watchdog for the small man who may be owed or is being cheated, so to who feel they can owe him and walk away. So it can actually go to like a subcontractor or a consultant or somebody, a partner who works with you to get his details and put him on your dashboard. Then you are also able to list people so that once they are red flagged by you, they are not able to access any other form of finance until they have paid what they are owing to whoever. be it their children's school or a commercial bank or it's a development bank or a financial institution like Bank of Finance, they cannot get any loan, any form of loan. You are also one of the three credit bureau in Nigeria and the foremost credit bureau in Nigeria. So I don't know if there's any other thing, if I've left out anything else. So kindly um, add to that or um, give us more insight to my
Okay.
overview.
All right. So I think that's a good summary you've done. Just to say that we're not just one of the three credit bureau, we're the first credit bureau in Nigeria. You
Yeah.
missed out that.
Yes, I know. I saw the
So
foremost.
yes,
I
we're
saw
the
the
first.
foremost credit bureau. Yes.
Exactly. So for us, have the right to financial obligation stock out there. Once anybody you have a contract with, you're not meeting up to the contract, the person can actually report you to the Integrity Bank, Nigeria's Integrity Bank, credit registry. So we're Nigeria Integrity Bank, we're Nigeria's Trust Bank. So this actually exists. Okay, so be responsible with your finances. Taking a loan there's nothing wrong in taking a loan. Also plan your credit, right? So you can actually plan your credit in line with your income. You can't just take a credit that at the end of it. For businesses out there having challenges with recovering their debt, I want you to know that we're here for you. We have that we help you with your invoicing, managing your invoices, and automatic reporting of debtors to the credit bureau.
But do you have any products for small business owners
Yeah,
that
so everybody can
the
access
small business
the
owner
same
can
credit.
access or make use of? Yes,
Good. So that's
service
why I
or
said, yeah,
product.
even the invoicing, yeah, the invoicing launch is specifically for business owners, small business owners out there. Even small, big business owners, non-financial. Okay, someone is asking me how can you access the free trial?
The
Just
free
buzz
trial.
me after this. Yeah, buzz me after this. We'll talk. As I said, we'll pre-qualify you. Don't just give access to everybody that comes to us because we're highly regulated. So we'll pre-qualify you, and also after pre-qualifying you, we would advise on the next step to take.
So Vera, can you give us the last words?
Oh, okay. I thought I just did the last word earlier on. So, as I said,
We
just be
there were a
responsible
lot,
with your
the
credit.
technical bits. It was we were frozen a bit.
Oh,
We could
oh,
not
okay,
hear you
yeah.
for some time. Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that. So, just be responsible for, if you take a credit, please be responsible with the credit you've taken. You're obligated to pay. Meet your obligation. Just if you're not meeting your obligation, there is your business, the person you have a business with, be it a bank, be it a non-financial institution, can report you to the credit bureau because their business can thrive. Every economy is built on trust. The developed economies we talk about is built on credit, and where there is no trust, there can't be credit, right? So, and actually, let me just say that credit is actually the history of credit. The word credit is from the word credit, trust. So people need to trust you when they give you facility. People need to trust you when they give you any form of credit. Even when we have a contract with someone, like you take your children to a school, the school owners need to trust you that you're going to pay. So be responsible with any financial obligation that you have. Let's make this economy work. Let's make the economy run. Because you can't be a credit economy when people cannot trust. And that is what we're here to do. Once we are here to make sure that we create that trust, we have to make sure that people are encouraged to give loans, knowing fully well that there's a platform where you can report people that are owing you, right? And also for business owners, just come to us if you're having challenges with recovery. This information is not out there so much. If you're having challenges with people paying you, come to us. I have a product that made for you that will help you recover your debts out there. And so that is it basically. Just be responsible. Be responsible. We can't say that enough. That's our goal. Be responsible with credit that you take. Be responsible. Also, for business owners that have that have asked the bank for loan restructuring. I don't know if you were here when I spoke earlier. First and foremost, make sure that you write the bank officially. If you didn't write them, go back and write them and reference to a discussion. Write the bank officially asking for a restructuring or maybe a step in the credit. So you can actually, if you're at the end of the day, your request is not for loan restructuring.
Okay, so the small business owner can actually write of the pandemic, and even if you've had like word of mouth agreement with your bank, you need to put it in writing to make it formal. So there's no is word against your words when it comes to the nitty gritty of you
Mm-hmm.
being having to pay when they are not. So I think that is what because she has said it before. That is what she's talking about. This is like the last in the series with loans, access to finance. We are very grateful to Vera for being here. I'm trying to make up for time so that when she comes back on fully, she can continue where she stopped. Now, the issue is that we've been talking about loans. We've talked about the do's and don'ts of loans, that you should go loan shopping. Don't just take the words of the bank for it. Ensure that you are getting the best deal when you're applying for a loan. So you're not stuck to your commercial bank, you're not stuck to anybody. Just be sure that you're getting the best of deals. So when you now decide to take the loan, ensure that you pay back. That is, integrity is not put at risk. Then you can access different types of loans from different financial institutions. We've spoken to Sterling Bank. We have we've also had Bode Joseph of Bank of Finance come to talk to us about asset financing. So I don't know if Vera is back. And
Yes, I am.
okay, so she can now finish up. You can access all these videos on my page, um, yikemi.ogunga, and I'm very sure you'll learn a thing or two. So, Vera, please conclude because we did not hear some of those things you said, so that we
Okay,
can
sorry.
call
Sorry
it a
about
day.
that network. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I understand.
I did talk about being responsible with your credit, and for business owners, I know a lot of people have approached the bank to restructure their loans and ask for a credit extension. First, to make sure you put it in writing. And also, once they get back to you to tell you an extension has been done, please ask for the amortization schedule, please. Find out how it was done, not at the end of the day realize you're going to be paying more. And if your repayment is now 2 years more, they will extend it to 5 years. That is not the meaning of an extension. And CBN, there's a guideline by CBN for consumer protection that gives you the right to say no to a credit extension terms that you don't like, right? So, because if you don't do this, you'll be reported as delinquent to the credit bureau. And ideally, any loan that's been submitted for restructuring in this pandemic is not supposed to be reported as delinquent to the credit bureau. So you have the right to refute that if you've had that experience. So because being conscious of this shows that you are actually on top of your information reported about you, because now you know that information reported about you can give you a better chance to access credit in future, right? And where you're seen as being delinquent in repayment, it's not good. It's going to give you a negative chance. But if you have been paying in the past, you even have the right to ask for a discount on the interest in future, because you're a good customer. Let me tell you, a lot of banks come to do analytics from me to get good customers. That is how important you are to the bank. When you're seen as a good customer that is paying, they want to give you credit as long as you're performing well with credits you've taken in the past. So let's all be responsible. We can only make the economy work where we are responsible with obligations that we have as individuals.
Okay, and also be sure that you get your I forgot what you call the name,
Yeah, letter of
letter stating that you
non-indebtedness.
have finished
When you
paying.
finish paying your debts, always ask for letter of non-indebtedness. It's going to help you. It will come in handy
Thank you so
sometime.
much, because you can prove that you have finished paying. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for
Thank
being
you,
here
ma'am.
once again. We look forward to another session next week. Thank you so very much. Vera, thank you. I'm very grateful. We've been long at
You're
this
welcome, ma'am.
for taking time
You're
from your
welcome.
very busy schedule to do this. Thank you very much. Thank you,
You're
everyone.
welcome.
Have a lovely day. And once again, can listen to all the videos on my page, Facebook, Have a
Is there any way
lovely
I
day.
can share this information on my own page?
Yes, you can.
All right, okay. All right, thank you.